Are you guys staying focused or letting this market distract you? Let's take a quick dive. Every investor gets tested at some point. It only takes one bad day for the headlines to turn negative, social media to fill with fear, and people to start wondering if they made a mistake. But before you let all that get into your head, ask yourself one simple question. Has anything really changed? I'm not talking about today's price action or what people are saying online. I'm talking about the tech, what it's built to do, and the problem it's trying to solve. If those things haven't changed, then why would one rough day change your whole outlook? One of the best things you can do as an investor is to know what you own and why you own it. When your confidence comes from doing your homework instead of following your emotions, it's a lot harder for fear to push you around. The XRP ledger still works the same way it did yesterday. It still moves money in seconds, and it still works around the clock, every day of the year. And it still does it at a very low cost. None of that changes just because the market has had a bad day. Prices can move all over the place in the short term because people get emotional. But over time, what really matters is whether the technology keeps doing what it was built to do. That's why I spend more time learning about the tech than staring at the charts. Charts show people how they feel today. The basics help you see where things could be going tomorrow. Now let's take a moment to remind ourselves of why we invested in the first place. When you step back and look at the big picture, most of the daily price moves are just noise. Markets will always go through ups and downs, and that's nothing new. The problem is that fear makes people do things they later regret. Some people buy because they don't want to miss out after prices have already gone way up, and others panic and sell after prices have already dropped. That's how a lot of people end up losing money. The patient investors are usually the ones that come out ahead. That's why Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." It's easy to feel good when everything is going up. The real test comes when everyone else is scared. That's when knowing what you own can make all the difference. Instead of getting caught up in every headline, pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes. One of the biggest changes in finances right now is something called tokenization. That's the idea of putting things like real estate, government bonds, gold, and other real-world assets onto a blockchain network. Doing that can make them faster to move, easier to trade, and more available to the entire world. This isn't just something crypto fans are talking about anymore, it's becoming a real conversation globally. And if that doesn't lock in your attention, let's hear from Larry Fink from BlackRock.
You know, I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities, the bonds, across the board.
It's very loud here.
It is very loud.
But it's good. Capital's at work, Larry. You like that.
I love capital at work.
Yeah.
But there's $4.1 trillion of money sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. They can have their cash, and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL. Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
$100 billion, I know, from nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
so
I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know. You love it now.
But I grow and learn.
So if I believe that this is really starting to happen, where does Ripple XRP fit into all of this? For years, most of the news about Ripple has always been about the lawsuit and rumors. But while everyone was watching the headlines, Ripple just kept on building out its network. The company stayed focused on making new partnerships, acquiring the licenses, and working with regulators in different countries. Now, these stories don't always make the biggest headlines, but they're important because real progress isn't built on hype. It's built over time through trust and compliance. Now, these relationships don't always guarantee success, But when you put everything together, you see a company that keeps moving forward. That's why I always say watch what they do and not what they say. Anybody can make you a promise, but results are what actually matter. So while many people are focused on the price right now, understand that Ripple is staying busy building out the infrastructure of global payments for the future. This is also why I tell people to follow the money instead of the noise. Big money usually moves before the headlines do, and large companies don't spend years building out new systems because of social media hype. They do it because they believe that there's long-term value in it. So ask yourself this: if Ripple had no future, why did companies all over the world keep working with them during one of the longest legal battles in crypto history? So let's listen to the man himself, Brad Garlinghouse, explain XRP in a minute.
What makes XRP unique? I'm going to go way back in time and talk about the earliest inventors of XRP Ledger who had been contributors to the core of Bitcoin. And they saw in that an opportunity to build something specialized and specific and unique to really solve a payments problem. And so what makes XRP so unique is its speed, settling transactions in 3 to 5 seconds, its cost, extremely low cost, fractions of a penny per transaction, and its scalability, now having completed over 4 billion transactions. You add in that with a special dash of an incredible community around XRP, what I like to call the XRP family. Sometimes we're going to be the XRP army, depending on what's going on. But you put those things together and you include the longevity of this blockchain, you have something special and unique that is poised for great success in the years ahead.
So don't let every scary headline shake your confidence. Focus on what's actually being built here. Stop stressing over every 5-minute candle and start looking at the bigger picture. Know what you hold, watch what these companies are doing and not just what they're saying, and always follow the money instead of the noise. The more you zoom out, the easier it is to see that this isn't slowing down. It's getting bigger. The financial system is changing, tokenization keeps gaining attention, and blockchain is becoming a bigger part of the conversation every single day. Whether it all happens next month or a few years from now, the people who stay patient and stay focused and think long term will be in the best position when the future gets here. So lock the F in, people. I'm your host, Steele, and we're holding the line. Let's navigate this machine one path at a time. I'll see you in the next video.